Okay, the question of predictions and enlargement. Well, I can make at least one prediction that's completely bulletproof, which is that it's not going to be nice for the Labour Party, this European election. I think that it's going to be the most depressing television Labour Party supporters have seen in a very long time. I think that this is actually going to be used, as Chris said, in European elections. A lot of the time people say, right, we're going to get the current government. How will UKIP do? How will all the parties do? Well, last time in the Northwest we got 11.7%. If you round it off, it's 12%. We estimate that, I know, don't remind you guys, but in order to get two of us elected, I'm number 2 on the UKIP list, to get two of us elected we need between 16 and 18%. So if we get a 4% push up from a 12, or in a worst case scenario a bit more, then I could be one of your MEPs. I'm not going to say any predictions, but I will say that UKIP is running a bigger campaign we've ever run before. We've had full-page adverts in newspapers, which Stuart Wheeler's £100,000 donation helped to pay for. We've got another wave of billboards due to go up, I think, this week or next. And we had the 4 TV broadcasts. I was in the one that was a couple of nights ago. If you put in YouTube, UKIP broadcast will see me. You can say, I know him very well, you can get my autograph later on with an iPod leaflet. And the second question is about enlargement. Now, enlargement's a bit of a tricky one because as the EU expands, its borders come ever closer to dangerous trouble spots. For example, the Caucasus. For example, North Africa. And the problem we've got is that that then means our border is at these trouble spots. Now, the Lisbon Treaty calls for solidarity. If one country in the EU gets attacked, you've got to pile in and support them. So if Estonia has a problem with Russia, or Spain has a problem with Morocco, or if a future Turkish EU member has a problem with Iran, we have to pile in and declare war on these countries on their behalf, and I think that's very, very bad. Read it, it's true. Read it, it's true. So what I'm going to say about enlargement, well, to be quite frank with you, I don't care who's a member of the EU, providing Britain isn't one.
I'd really like to hope that Europe's more about peace than actually just invading countries because they don't serve it. Really just to say that, you know, we will be talking not just about European issues. I don't think we're naive enough in the Labour Party to think people are just going to look at what Labour have done for you in Europe. It will be a question. We'll look at expenses, we'll look at the economy. But Labour have, stood up to the metal. This is the worst financial crisis that we've had since the 1930s, and we are doing something about it. The Conservatives are the do-nothing party, and they would make sure that you end up worse off than you actually are. What about expansion? Well, expansion is something that we've always supported, and like the other parties, so long as the conditions are met. The equal rights for people is something that's very strong in our agenda. It's something that's one of the jewels of the Labour Party that makes sure that all can embrace, everyone has equality. And that would have to be seen and seen very strongly for any countries joining. And expecting the results. Again, I won't be naive and say that, if you read the polls will tell you it will probably be an uncomfortable night. But, unlike the Liberals, unlike UKIP, unlike Green, we can stand by and take a bloody nose. It means we have to listen, it means we have to do something about it, and it means that we have to re-engage. But we have had a very, very strong record from 1997. We've sorted out the mess of the Thatcher major years, and we actually stand proud now and say that this country is a better place than it was in 1997.
Okay, and I'm afraid that we're running fast out of time, so I'm going to take one final question from the box, which is a bit of a fluff question. Basically, if you could claim expenses on one thing. Should I take one more question from the audience? Okay. Okay, there's a large group over there, I think. That gentleman in the middle who hasn't spoken yet, so I'll go with that. Yeah, in the green.
Michael said he was number 2 on the UKIP list. What number are the rest of you on the list for your individual parties?
Okay, that's in depth.
number 3 on the list.
I'm number 8, I'm at the bottom. I have no problem with that because I believe that you don't just do it for election, you actually stand up for what you believe in, and I believe in Labour Party values.
Number 1. Number 4.
Before you get to the old question.
Okay, and I think we've got time just for one last one from that gentleman over there.
Thank you. I was just wondering, to what extent do you think the EU should sort of have the minutiae of its policies interfering in little things? Like, for a fairly abstract example, to buy a step ladder, there's now an EU policy apparently saying that the sticker on the side of it tells you that if you don't read the handbook, you might fall off and die. Those sorts of little things are what irritates me most about the EU, and yeah, are they really necessary? Thank you.
Yeah, I agree that really the EU shouldn't be spending time looking at the minutiae of things like rules for step ladders. I think what we really have to see from the EU, especially if we want people to engage with it more, is that it's taking a lead on key issues like climate change, like migration, and like economic policy. I don't think it's a particularly good use of people's time to be looking at whether a banana is straight or not, and that kind of thing.